Okay, here we are, first stop of the 2026 Ingles SoCon Fast Break Summer Tour. Johnson City, Tennessee, East Tennessee State University men's basketball team. And guess what? Head coach Brooks Savage has invited us in, all access. Let's head down to the locker room right now. And let's hear what Coach Savage has to say.
But what we're talking about, guys, is humility and self-awareness. And that's why you guys are here, because you guys are good people and you have that. All right, we really evaluated not only your game, but who you are as a person. This will not be hard for us to have. Humility about yourself as a player and self-awareness about who you are and who your teammates are. And as we grow together, we'll get really good at this. But that is really kind of the secret sauce to me about what makes a great team, is everybody playing to their strengths and doing what they're good at.
But how important is it to also have players that are also leading it in terms of, being disciplined?
You gotta have guys you want to look well coached, recruit guys that'll do what they're coached to do. Yeah. Just recruiting like-minded guys that value playing a certain way, value the team, want to be part of the culture, want to add to the culture, want to bring value. I just want them to connect and encourage each other.
How do you think some of the players would describe you?
Demanding. I'd say fair. I think they know I want the best for them. That's not always sunshine and rainbows.
Go do your thing.
All right, here we go. All right, down here, let's get 4 guys out here. 4 guys out here. We're going to go advance back.
All right, here we are, Maki Johnson, senior here at East Tennessee State University men's basketball. You ready for your first ever 2-man weave?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we know about the 3-man weave, but we're doing the 2-man weave right here on SoCon Fast Break. Okay, here we go, Maki. I'm going behind you first right here. I need to know, what is it like for you? I mean, you're the OG now of this team.
Yeah, it's exciting. Like getting to know the new teammates, getting to spread our culture, Savage's culture, letting him know he don't mess around. It's exciting. I'm really excited.
Now, how have you grown as a player since your first day here on campus?
Definitely have matured since my first day. One of the things was probably my
you go behind.
My schooling. Schooling was a little tough at first, and then it got going. And then once Savage got on me that first time, it was good. So, and then growing as a basketball player. Freshman year, I really couldn't guard a pole, honestly.
Defense is something you need to improve, is what you're saying early on.
Yes, early on, that was my biggest concern. And because I had the offense, I could shoot, whatever. But now I feel like I'm defensively in tune as anybody on the court.
Now, how much pride do you have, though, being able to step beyond that three-point line and being that shooter?
A lot. I mean, I want to take on a big role this year.
Yeah.
And really, I want to be able to go to the NCAA tournament. That's my biggest goal, and not only for me but for my teammates.
What was that like during Asheville tournament time and being oh so close and not getting over the mountaintop, so to speak?
The Western Carolina game was a clasher. It was a big game. Obviously, we were really excited after winning that game. We hadn't beat Western that year.
Yeah.
But not gonna lie, after we lost to Furman, I was so devastated, and it kind of motivates me for this year.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, starting right now.
Yeah.
Getting working right now so we can prepare for preseason, and then preseason getting to going non-conference.
Yeah. Well, it's a new chapter, obviously, new season, and it looks like you might have a little bit of different hairdo right there, a little different color. What happened there? A little M&M type color.
Once a year, I give it a good little blonde. It's growing out right now, but after tomorrow, it's gone.
It's gone?
Yeah.
Okay. What is your pregame routine? When you're getting ready, you're getting hyped up. What do you lean on? Is it music, or you just meditate?
I lean on Jesus.
Dude.
I just like to pray, and I know that He has my back no matter what.
When did faith become such a big part of your life?
My freshman year of college. Yeah, I went home for Christmas break, and my freshman year was so tough. And like I said, with my grades, and then I wasn't getting the playing time I wanted. I was just in a really low, dark spot, and then the only person that was really there for me was Jesus.
Yeah, of course, always there.
Yeah,
right?
Always.
Okay, what about playing in the Southern Conference? What's the hardest place you've played in? outside of, we know Freedom Hall. That place gets going crazy.
It gets rowdy.
Oh, yeah, it does. I'm talking about when you're on the road.
Only in conference?
Yes, only in conference.
I'll say that Sanford is really, really tough to play at. Only because they're like right next to you and they actually talk to you. Like they don't hold back.
Yeah.
Chat's pretty tough too, but they're not as close to you as the other schools.
Yeah. Now, I know there's a lot of talk about the most passionate fans in the Southern Conference is right here in Johnson City, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. How would you respond to that? Do you believe that? These fans here are rabid. They love their basketball team.
1,000% can agree to that. Especially when it comes to SoCon tournament time.
Yes.
I feel like it's a home game every SoCon tournament game. Yeah, and I've never got chills, and I'm getting chills thinking about it right now. The home games, you hit a big shot, and it just gets loud, and it just like is almost like vibrations. You can feel it. It's electric.
Yeah. All right. So it's early on though. How's the bond though with the team with transfers coming in and some younger guys also coming in? And again, you're the veteran guy and welcoming him. How is the camaraderie going so far?
I'd say it's going well so far. It's we have a couple guys that I still need to get closer with, but for the most part, like me and BJ, we're getting to know each other really well. Jayden Cooper. Yeah. But one of the guys that helps connect us a lot is Jordan McCollum. He just he'll just talk to anybody. However, like he's just very, very like extroverted. Like he'll talk to anybody, and sometimes when we're together, I just let him do the talking. So I don't because I'm introverted. I don't like to talk very much.
You don't seem introverted though.
Well, I've got
a little bit of splash.
I've matured a little bit freshman senior year.
Yeah, I like that. I think you've got your own personality. But speaking of Jordan, obviously another guy that's been part of the program. Looks like he's bulked up a little bit. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's got some nice size now. Not that he didn't, but even more so for this upcoming season.
He was definitely a twig last year. I used to give him stuff about it all the time. But he's gained. I think he gained 20 pounds since postseason. Yeah, he's going to be a problem for the SoCon.
Do you like working out with weights?
Oh, I love it.
You do?
Now, legs, not so much.
Yeah, of course. Nobody likes leg day.
Yeah, right? Exactly. But like bench press, curls, I like to make my physique look.
There you go. Yes, of course. Hey, I can't thank you enough, Maki, for joining us here on SoCon Fast Break in the two-man weave right there, number 2.
Thanks for having me.
Let's go. All right, Coach Savage, thanks so much for joining us here on SoCon Fast Break. We greatly appreciate it. Obviously, a lot going on, but I know you got to be happy though. The Knicks. They took it, huh? Finally. 53 years. Are you kidding me?
I'm fired up. It's been a long time. People are like, how are you a Knicks fan? 'Cause I'm from South Carolina, East Tennessee guy. So obviously my dad, like a lot of dads, are Michael Jordan fans.
Yes.
And being a Tennessee fan growing up, Allen Houston being a Knick, but then just anti-Jordan as a young guy. The Knicks were like, I just kind of adopted the Knicks. We used the old school Knicks as our identity. Hardest playing, best condition, most connected, toughest team. That's kind of, we know it as Heat culture today, but that's old school Pat Riley, 90s Knicks, Van Gundy, so I've just kind of always liked the way they played Mason, Oakley. But it was started with Allen Houston and just kind of being a contrarian against my dad growing up. But yeah, we're fired up, man. Was a huge Brunson, Villanova fan, big fan of those teams. We played them our first year here with Coach Forbes. Did not go great for us. But just a big fan of the Knicks and the Garden. There's no better place.
Oh my goodness!
So,
I mean, that's
happy we won.
Yeah, I mean, the Garden is the epitome of where basketball should be played.
The Mecca.
The Mecca. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. When I was an assistant coach at Fairleigh Dickinson University, first year we played St. John's. In the Garden.
It's awesome.
And it was like, and I'm from, Georgia, went to Clemson, and I'm like, whoa, wait a second. this is a little different feel. That's for certain. All right, though, but also with the Knicks, though, I felt there were some situations, you can talk about fouls and everything. I felt they got some whistles, man.
Yeah, Wemby got a favorable whistle for sure. But I was getting so mad at the officiating in the finals. But then I had this kind of revelation. I'm like, what if you just, we talked about leadership and trying to eliminate hypocrisy and being about what we say, and I always get on the players, this is kind of a Coach Saban thing, no talking to the refs. And I'm like, why don't I have the same policy? And so I don't like when the guys complain about calls or talk to the referees. I think it's distracting. I think very few people are able to play their best. And I've actually found it distracting when I get too caught up in the whistle, and I'm not a very good coach. I'm not a good enough coach to get on them and coach the game. So I said, what if I just never said anything to them? You know, friendly and whatever, but just same policy as the players.
Just don't say anything.
Now, nobody thinks I can do that, but
Yes.
I think I'm gonna try it out.
Okay, how long do you think it's going to last? What's the over/under? I need to know.
Well,
this.
everybody's doubting me that I'll make it to the first media of the first game, but I really am gonna try to be. Like, it's distracting. I think it's not fair to our players.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think I got to focus on the game and our team and trying to make the best decisions for our group. And you know, the other stuff doesn't work. Working officials, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not good at it. There's no such thing. I haven't won enough to do any
get those
of that
whistles.
stuff. Yeah. So we're just going to try to focus on us, and I'm going to see how long I can go. I think I can do it, but there is a lot of doubters.
Well, it's also one of those things, not so much doubting your ability, but it seems like that's just the norm. That's just what coaches do, is that you try to hustle whatever you can with the officials to get calls your way. But I agree with you. It can be so distracting, and your team needs you to be composed, to be in the moment, rather than worrying about things you can't control.
Absolutely. I think the better we play, the better I tend to be with the officials at times. I think maybe there's some misplaced anger there at times, but we all need to be at our best, me included. You know, me maybe most importantly as it comes to coaching, and so I owe that to them. So I'm going to try to be better in that way. You know, every offseason you look, how can we get better? What can we do? Where were we good? Where can we be way better? And I think just looking internally at myself and looking in the mirror, like we asked the players to do.
Of course.
That's one area I can be better.
I mean, what we talked about, I mean, you can't be a hypocrite.
Right.
You've got to walk the walk, and the talk, all of that is part of it. And of course, as we're doing the walk and talk right here. And then so when you're looking at the dough, just from a perspective of how you're going through some of these self-reflections and maybe changing some certain things, how have you grown not only as a coach, but as a person from your first time you stepped on campus here?
I thought I was really prepared. I thought I've had some great teachers, and Coach Forbes, really prepared me. But there's so many things that there's no way to be prepared for. You have no idea. I just think from figuring out who I want to be, who I want to coach, how we want to do, just evolving in those ways. I think you come in with a good plan and a good idea, but until you get in the action, until you're in it, you don't really know for sure. And so I think just to have evolved is like, this works for us, this works for me, from the roster of like who we want, like I said, who we want to coach, how we want to play changes a little bit with that, but just the identity things don't change. And then just the more experience you get under your belt, just the better you naturally become. But it's been more of like a lot of the leadership stuff, like just I saw a good quote, it's not what you accomplish along the way, it's who you become. And I think it's who you become and who you help these guys become. And so just like your purpose as a coach, I think is, as I've gotten more under my belt, is really, that's probably been the area that I've probably grown the most, because in the first year, you're trying to get this thing off the ground, and there's so much going on. But as we've settled in, I think I've made more time for that sort of stuff.
What was that like, being in that first game, and first time you have to call the timeout as a head coach? I mean, can you remember back to that day?
Well, I had my welcome to the ACC moment back at Wake Forest, first time I ever had to call timeout. Coach Forbes gets thrown out right at the end of the first half, and he's like, you got him. And I'm like, oh God. And I look down there, we're playing Duke, and there is Coach K and 1,000 wins. And I'm like, I'm standing over here in a mask because it's COVID. Thank God nobody could see me. But so that was the very first time. But being here, we played Davidson early on, and they had just come from Asheville, a little preseason tournament. I think they'd beat Maryland and played Clemson really close. Like, I'm like, oh man, we have bit off more than we can chew in this deal. And we played our tails off, and we beat them here at home. And that was like one of those first kind of watershed moments. And you got to win those along the way to keep taking the next step in your program. And that was really the first one. But this has been a lifelong dream for me. And so be able to have a chance to lead my own program and do it with people that you enjoy being around, and these great coaches that we have, and these players has been fun and been very rewarding. I think I have grown a ton. They've made me better husband, father, coach, and so it's been, as much as we try to do for them, I think there's some residual rewards that you get back, and that's been really cool.
I was going to ask you, what are you learning from the guys that you've coached over the years?
Patience. That's not really my strong suit.
Well, that'll help from a parenting standpoint too.
Patience, yeah. Having 3 young kids will help you there.
So, coaching college basketball, do you have to be a little bit crazy?
Yeah, you have to be a lot crazy. I tell people, young coaches, and I was one of them, not that long ago, once upon a time, and hey, coach, I want to get into college coaching. You got any advice? And my advice is don't. Like, you have to. It is such a tough profession. Like anything that's highly competitive, I think that there's a lot of, there's not a lot of pay when you start out, and I made $9,000 in my first Division I job. I worked in junior college for free. I lived twice in a friend's. And when I was at Tulane, I lived in a spare room in this 65-year-old lady's house. She was a widow, great lady, came to my wedding. And, but like, it's not exactly living the life of when you're 24, 25 years old and your friends are off living in, New York or Nashville or wherever, making money, and you're in Clinton, South Carolina, making $9,000. And so you have to sacrifice a lot. There's a lot of things you miss, but you get so much. Like, the relationships and the experiences are one of a kind, and so you get to do things that nobody else does. But there is a lot of sacrifice that comes with it, probably to be successful in anything. But yeah, you have to be half crazy, especially with now how this changes, every year. Yes. You saw Dusty May. It's just such a low quality of life. And so that's where, thankful that I have the wife that I do, and the staff that we have to be able to still have fun and be able to keep your sanity.
That's right. Well, the Dusty May news just breaking, but it does give hope for all the managers out there in the world that here we go.
Great day for managers. Right. Great day for former managers.
There's no question. All right. So, when you look at an off season, obviously there's roster management that you have to focus on. We do know all that. But just from a personal standpoint, how do you look at an off season from a coaching perspective for you? Like, how do you try to get better in your profession?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of leadership, is you have to be self-critical, and you have to be willing to accept the hard truth, because we're really good at giving it, but oftentimes maybe not as good at receiving. I think it'd be really self-critical. For me, we had the highest rated offense, points per possession, in school history, as far as you can go back. And I was completely miserable in the off season about, like, I felt like in some ways I'd failed our group offensively. Like, we were the best we've ever been. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, we could have been, if it wasn't for me, we could have been so much better. I could have been so much better with this group. Maybe that would have got us over the top. And so there, I don't know if you call it depression or not, but there's a lot of dark days. We won the league, played for the championship. We led the league in defense again.
Yeah.
Highest rated offense, all these things to celebrate. And I'm like completely miserable for a while, and just thinking about ways to get better. And, so you go through that, and you eventually you come out of it, and you move forward. But I think jumping into recruiting helps. But I think, how can I coach better? Schematically, what could we have done differently, or what did we do that was good? What do we need to keep? What do we need to throw away? But how do I need to personally coach them better individually? We do a lot of stuff with like personality profiles, and AI helps with that. because you don't have a lot of time to get to know them like you used to.
Not.
So it's like I've called it a race to relationship, and that's what we're doing now. We spend all day with them. And so, but just where can I be better? I think you got to be in, going back to the hypocrisy, hardest playing, best conditioned. Okay, where could I have worked harder? Was I in great shape?
Yeah.
To handle the duration of the season? And so, okay, I need to get my tail in the gym and work out and like be in better shape. Did I do enough to connect? We want to be best, most connected. Did I connect enough with each player? Where could I have been better? What about the staff? How could I have developed them better? I mean, it's just torture.
Yeah. Of course, yes.
But I think that's what it requires if you want to be great and you want to be special. And then the toughness piece, like, was I tough? Okay, did I lose my focus on getting on the referees, or did I lose my focus worrying about things I can't control? And so the mental toughness piece of that, the same thing we ask of the players, you have to ask of yourself. And so kind of going through that.
Yeah, of course.
To get
What's
better.
your support mechanism, though? Who do you lean on for support? Obviously, your wife.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I try not to complain to her too much. I have to get it out. I have to vent it out.
Yeah, exactly.
So then I can go do it. The staff, you don't maybe always vent, but just definitely leaning on them for their thoughts. I have some mentors of mine. Pat Marshall is a big one. He played at Furman, back in the day for Butch and Butch Estes. Coach Forbes, just because he sat in that chair in this office,
That's right.
Even though the job's changed, he knows me as well as anybody. My dad, my mom, so that kind of support system, our Dr. Sander here internally. And so you lean on those people. I like the people that really know me. Matt Woodley at Wake Forest, that work closely alongside with, has been huge for me. So, a combination of all of them, depending on what the issue is.
That's right.
But people that'll tell you the truth.
It takes a village, though.
Yeah, but it's the people that'll be honest with you and tell you the truth.
Yeah, that's right.
There's not a lot of those people. And so, like I said, it can be stuff that's hard to hear, but you have to do it if you really want to get better.
For certain. All right, so trying to reach that pinnacle, that success, and Coach Forbes, the success that he had here, are there comparisons? Do people try to compare you with Coach Forbes? You're two different coaches.
Probably. I don't, I'm off Twitter, so I don't want to hear it good or bad. I just want to stay focused on this group because I owe them that. And again, no one's good when they're distracted with the praise or the negative stuff. And it's the same people. So, but I think so. Yeah. I don't think you can probably coach here. I think every coach here will always get compared to that era because of what we were able to accomplish. And, playing for championships, winning championships, that is the standard. And so, I think so.
And do you embrace that challenge, though? Because of the history. Even going back to Alan LaForce. There's a pedigree of success here.
It's motivating for me chasing that. No one will ever have that kind of success that Coach Forbes here. I don't know if that's even attainable, but we're going to chase it and try to, make history in our own ways. And we've been able to do that with some of the things that we've accomplished. And we're going to run our own race and walk our own path, and so to speak. But we're chasing the same thing, chasing greatness, and doing that one day at a time. And there's so much of Coach Forbes. The just some of the things that we believe in. I'm going to do it a different way. The packaging is going to be different, but the substance I think is still the same of being blue collar and playing hard and playing together and representing this university and this community in a first class way, because they love basketball here. And so,
they do.
Yeah, we're going to try to give them a great product. And so those things are the same, even though I won't put my own spin on it.
Yeah. Well, the sign out there says most passionate fan base in the Southern Conference in Johnson City, Tennessee. Would you attest to that?
Yeah.
Freedom Hall, when it gets going, watch out.
Pound for pound, there's not a better place. one of the great mid-major places when it's rocking. And that was the goal, to get it back, bring the magic back to Freedom Hall. I think we've been able to do that. 2 years ago, we had the first time in school history since we've been in Freedom Hall, 3 straight crowds of 5,000 or more. It's been packed in there. They've seen us cut nets down in there. And so getting that back and getting that fire back, because I think you can really unite the community and ignite the community when basketball is good, and like it has been so many times. And so, yeah, that's been a fun challenge to get that back, because we know how special it can be.
Of course. What was the roller coaster ride like there in Asheville in the tournament, where the crazy comeback against Western, and then, of course, I know the defeat there in the championship game, though.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all the emotions that not only you, but the entire team went through.
For sure. When you're the number 1 seed, then the expectation is to play for it and win it.
Yeah.
We put ourselves in the best position to do that. We unfortunately had to play Western Carolina, who was so much better than their record and got so much better over the course of the year. Then they gave us problems because we had a hard time punking them like we do to other teams physically. Like they led the league in rebound margin, so we couldn't beat them up. In fact, it may have been a lot of times been the other way around. We had 2 really close games in the regular season, and we were just able to get going and make enough plays down the stretch to get that comeback. But I think both times that we made the championship, we had to come back from 17-20 down our first year. And I think that we've got to play better in that game, because it's too emotional. It's too much of an emotional expense that game takes on you. And I just don't think we've played great on Monday night because of what we had to go through in that game. I think you saw it in the finals. I think it was so much of an emotional win for the Spurs to beat the Thunder.
Yes.
They just didn't, and they played well, but they just didn't, they couldn't do it in the finals, for whatever reason. I think that was, we just didn't have it. And that's no excuse. I think it's real. I think we all felt it, and we've got to play better in that championship game. And, but we will one of these times just keep knocking on the door.
But we see this in so many other examples. You can even look on the basketball side also from the Final Four, teams that reach that pinnacle, so to speak, the Final Four, and then there's a little bit of a letdown in the championship game. And then also you can look to the NFL and teams getting to the Super Bowl. It's like that was the pinnacle. They had so much energy to get there. They just couldn't get over the hump. Yeah,
we've got to, that game's got to be a little smoother sailing for us. The times that we won it in 17 and 20, was more of an even keeled ride to the finals, and I think we played better. And that's an area that I've looked at internally about, okay, how do I prepare them to play better in that game? I don't, so that takes some soul searching and some self-evaluation. But, we're going to continue to play in that game. I've been here 8 years as an assistant coach and a head coach. We've played in it 6 times. We just got to keep being championship caliber. I know we define success by that game. You can't put all your eggs into one game. And so we just got to continue to be process oriented, as cliche as it sounds. But if we continue to be championship caliber in the things that we do, that'll happen.
That's right. I mean, you had a fantastic season. Number 1, seed, as you talked about, regular season champs. I mean, you had some winning streaks there.
Sure.
And again, with all of the statistical analysis and leading the league in different categories. So it's not a failure. But it feels
like one on Tuesday.
I imagine it does. Yes,
does.
I mean, that's just how coaches are wired. And, you want to be able to obviously to be able to cut down the net for the championship and get to the NCAA tournament. So how do you then balance that disappointment and knowing that it's not a complete failure? And how do you utilize that in your journey here in this 2026 season?
Yeah, that comes back to kind of how I've grown in leadership. Like, you want to feel sorry for yourself in that moment, and like, why is this happening to us? Why can't we win? And as a leader, you have to stand up and pick everybody else up and remind people of what we did accomplish and how far we were able to come and what we were able to do together. And that's your job.
Yeah.
That's your job. And so you have to stand up in those moments as hard as it is,
And it's what's required in leadership and you know, and be there for those guys because nobody wanted to win more than they did, you know, and, but again, you have to remind them of the good things.
That's right.
And that one game doesn't define you. If we're if that's, I know that's the world we live in. But
it is.
But you can't do that internally.
Yeah.
That's for everybody else.
That's right.
So you just got to, you know, figure out why you got there, what kept you from winning it, and then go do something about it.
All right. When you are coaching in games, do you still get butterflies?
Yeah, all the time.
Like,
I got a great story for you. We're playing at Sanford 2 years ago, and it's packed.
Yeah.
You know, Bucky has it rolling. I think they're like 15-2 or something, and we're coming in there 28 game home win streak or something. They have, and I mean, it's the first time I've ever been to Sanford when the top bleachers were pulled out.
Yeah.
It's neon night. It is packed in there, CBS. And I feel myself getting a little nervous right before the game. And then I'm like, I've coached at Duke. Like, let's go.
That's right.
You know, I've been to Kansas and Duke and Kentucky. Like,
yes.
I don't even know the name of this place. So it kind of turned from like nervousness to like excitement. But you kind of gotta, big games are big games, man. No matter what level they are. And so, I think the nervousness, you want the guys to play well.
Of course.
And give yourselves the best chance to win. So I had to kind of snap myself out of it. It was during the anthem. And I'm like, you know, this is nothing compared to Cameron Indoor Stadium, you know. So we're ready, and we went and played great and controlled the tempo, and we won the game, and it was a big moment for our group to take the next step.
For sure. All right. So speaking of that, just in terms of playing in the Southern Conference, outside of Freedom Hall, what are some of the tougher places to play?
In the league?
In the league, yes. Or
yeah.
do you have a number one, again, outside of Freedom Hall? You can't name your place.
Well, Furman used to be tough, but they got that nice place. Now you're almost real comfortable when you go in there. You got a nice locker room, and everything is perfect. So Wofford can be tough because the students are right there. They can get on you, and they get into it. You know, Chattanooga shows up for our game, and so there's always a big crowd. You know, and I think anytime you go to the military academies, they get the soldiers in there. Yeah. You know, it creates a really cool environment. So, you know, they all can pose a challenge in their own way.
Yeah.
You know, you can roll into Cullowhee on a Wednesday night, and it can be cold and rainy, and there may not be a whole lot of people there, and that can be tough to play in too. And so, you know, they all pose their own individual challenge.
All right. So when you walk into your office, the sign there, how important is that word toughness?
It's
First
everything
thing that you see.
It's everything. It's who we are. It's, you know, when you're trying to become a head coach, they want you to come up with these core values, right? So you go to these things, and I tried on every word, and I ultimately just came back to like, what I realized in that process is it's got to be the words that I can live out, because I have to be authentic in who I am. And they will, and if it's not, they're going to know, and then you're not going to have good culture. And so those toughness, passion, attitude, and effort is just the last two are things my dad told me. If he told me once, he told me a million times. Yeah. Those are things you can control. And those are like checks and balances for, again, how you self-evaluate. Like, you know, things aren't going right. Well, why? How's my attitude? Am I giving my best effort? Yeah. Am I excited to be here? Do I have good passion? You know, how's my mental toughness? Am I being sensitive about stuff that I shouldn't like? So it's a roadmap for us, for me especially. And, you know, but it's how I got here. It speaks to my path. Yeah. Was a okay high school player, a good high school player, but not a great player, you know, and then the manager, and, you know, all the steps I've had to take to get here, and the days that you want to quit. And, you know, just it's how we define that is the unbreakable mindset, the daily consistency. You know, my dad drives a forklift, and he's got to get up every day and go do that. Yeah. And that's your job. So that takes a lot of toughness. Anybody can do it once or twice, but can you get up, you know, every day and do that? And if you can, then you can have success. Yeah.
How much do you believe in the fact that, hey, we all have choices we can make? So it's choosing to get up and go to work, because you could choose not to.
It's a great subject. We talk about this in our summer team time that you saw this morning. you think you have a choice, but not if you want to be great. It's like Coach Saban talks about the illusion of choice. It's the illusion of choice. You don't have a choice. I think that's one thing I've really learned is like, if you want to do what you say you want to do, you don't have a choice. You have to get up and go to work,
Exactly.
even when you don't feel like it. And so we try to tell that to the players. Like, you want to be a great player, then you don't have a choice. You got to lift hard, and you got to do it when you don't feel good. You got to play through some injury, and you got to get extra work, and you got to be a great teammate. Yeah. And you don't have a choice. And so I think that's.
Yeah, but what about some of those you hear, oh, well, my circumstances?
Regardless of circumstance. That's the fine print over there.
Yeah.
Regardless of circumstance. Because as cold as it sounds, nobody cares. We're here for you, man, but the show goes on. And so regardless of circumstance, you got the sniffles, your dog ate your homework, it don't matter.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's hard to do, but that is the reality of the world.
It is, yes. And adversity is going to find all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to be able to make that choice to have that windshield mentality. Hey, step forward.
For sure.
And you got to put one step in front of the other each and every day.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy.
It's not. And I think it's natural for competitors in this arena to get up from adversity and respond. That's just who we are. Mm-hmm. The real challenge is how you handle success. I think you see people who have the first taste of success, and then for whatever reason, they can't find it again, and they didn't handle it right, or it changes who you are. It's like I told you out there, it's not what you accomplish, it's who you become, and the winning can change you and have as much negative effect as the adversity can. So we talk about all those things with our group, because you're going to go through all of that on the roller coaster of the season and along the journey. And so you try to prepare them for what's to come. Like, everybody has great chemistry in the summer. No one's taken a DNP yet.
That's right.
How are you going to act when you don't get your shots, you don't get your minutes, you don't play well, whatever happens? Like, are you going to still be the same person? And so we try to talk about what's to come.
Yeah, it's easy in the honeymoon phase, right? Yeah. Everybody gets along during the honeymoon phase.
That's right.
All right. So speaking of honeymoon phase, 2026 roster. Catch us up on what you're excited about with this roster.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most depth we've had. We didn't have to over-recruit anybody to come here. I think everybody wanted to be here. Like, they liked what we're about, and they wanted to be part of it. We didn't have the most money. We don't have the most money, so we've been able to do this. We're competitive, but it ain't the most, and it ain't in the top 3. And so we've had to figure out ways what works for us. And I think we have a really like-minded group. We've got great character. I think just as guys, everybody coming in has over a 3.0. There's been 2 teams here in the last decade, 10 to 12 years, that have had over a 3.0 team GPA. The 2020 team and this past year's team. And those were the only 2 teams to win the league outright, the regular season. And so what you do off the floor shows up on it. And so we've really tried to recruit guys that are
So you do feel there's a correlation there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't just turn it on.
Yeah.
At 3:00 or at 7:00, like how you do all those sayings that are all true. How you do anything is how you do everything. And so we try to educate them on that stuff, even though, none of this stuff is original material, but it is true.
Yeah.
And, so we try to teach them these things. But yeah, I think this team is very like-minded. And when you get a group that is about the same stuff and the right things that as we define them and wants to play together, then you can have a special team.
Yeah, for certain. And I do believe, just from aspect of 2 things can be true at the same time. Yeah, these sayings might be cliche, but they're applicable,
right?
And they're true. And so you do have to remember that. All right. So some guys that, at least on paper and maybe some of the film that I've been starting to watch, like a BJ Ward coming from SEMO, that guy looks like he's going to be ready to step in pretty quickly.
Yeah, all league player in a comparable league. He can really play the position. I think it's early, but I think he seems to have the best feel for that spot of anybody we've had here. And so, that's exciting. I think Jayden Cooper.
Yes.
We were saying down there, if he was like a selfish dude, he could average 30. He can make baskets and score points and is a great teammate. I think Mecca and Jordan will have a breakout years, especially Jordan, and Mecca has been here, our first signee.
Yeah, he's an OG.
And so his leadership's been great. I think he'll have the best year he's had. Marcus Marion coming from Wake Forest. I think the front court as a whole has depth and mobility even more than last year. You know, those two guys, Cam Morris and Blake Barkley, will be hard to replace.
Of course.
But I think we can, you know, find similar production, maybe it may be across more guys, you know. But
was
they're
that very
mobile.
intentional about mobility and athleticism?
Yes, that's the
especially
number
on the
one
front court?
thing at front court, because we're going to hedge and we want to be able to move around the floor and have athleticism. And you got to be able to cover this. This is a high power offensive league. Like there's great
doubt.
coaches.
Yes,
I mean,
you got to be able
Lenny
to
and
defend
Dan
on the
and
perimeter.
Bob, and I mean, you got to be able to cover them.
Yes,
And so we want to do that with mobility. It's our way of being different. You know, maybe a little undersized, but we're going to be able to really move. And we want to hedge and turn you over. So, I mean, it's the number one league for fewest turnovers. It's the top 5 offensive rated league. It's the number 1 3-point shooting league. So you better have guys that can cover out on the floor. And you know, if you want to be aggressive, which we do. So, yeah, you know, I think the roster came together how we had hoped, and that'll remains to be seen on paper, but I think we feel good about it. You know, you know, we got 8 guys in 10 visits, and we've been able to be really efficient over our whole time here. And you know, so we're excited about it. You know, we got a long way to go, but we feel good about where we are today.
Well, this is just your first week.
Yeah, everybody's good
in terms of
week.
You know, workouts and getting the
But
team
I think
together.
sometimes you get them out there and you go, oh, we might have missed on that one. I think that happens. I know there's been some of that here in our first couple of years where you're like, man, he's not as good as maybe we thought, or, you know, or whatever. So, but I don't feel that way. And I don't think we missed last year either. And so hopefully we can
you definitely didn't
have the same type of success.
Yeah. And I think Kendall Campbell could be another guy. That, watch out.
Yeah. You know, we got Jordan because of Mecca, their relationship, and we got Kendall because of his relationship with Braden Crump. They played together. And, you know, Jayden Cooper, talking about the fans, South Alabama played here. He saw what the environment was like. Kendall played here. Braden Crump played here. Marcus Marion played here in an exhibition. So they were familiar with what it's like in the fan base and the environment. So I think that helped us. But yeah, I mean, we just gotta, you gotta just keep on the path we're on. I think the depth allows for accountability.
Yeah, of course.
Because the only thing I have really is those 200 minutes, you know, and so.
Yes, that's hard to work in those 200 minutes. Yes.
You know, keeps everybody in between the lines, I think. But we got great, high character, smart guys that value the team. And so that usually lands.
Yeah, and you've got some guys that have been productive, and especially even, you know, plus minus side have been on the positive side. Trevor Hennig coming from Weber State, I think that
double
could be
figure
a nice
score.
Yes,
so
exactly.
You know, guys just need the right opportunity, and hopefully that this is it for them.
Yeah. What do you think the ceiling is for Jordan McCollum?
Power 4.
Yeah.
Beyond. I mean, he can be as good as he wants to be. Yeah. I tell him all the time, dude, God did the hard part for you, man. You're 6'8" with a 7'1" wingspan.
Exactly.
Run to the corner, make an open shot, and go get an offensive rebound. Like, he's just, you know, he's just starting to. Last year was the first year he played, and he had, you know, he kind of hit the wall there at one point, and we were at Wofford, and we got snow. We had to go early because of snow.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was like a retreat for our team. The guys were coming by the room and hanging out. We got to really be together more. And at that point of the year, we needed it. And from then on, he played great, and he was awesome. So having been through it one time, I expect him to take a huge jump. He'll shoot it better. He's 220, you know, and so really excited
he's
about.
Bulked up a little bit.
He's serious, tough-minded player, and that's who we recruit.
Okay. Yeah, when you're looking at recruiting, especially now in the transfer portal, I mean, what are the criteria that you're looking for? I mean, is it statistically based, film based, obviously character based?
All of it. Okay. I think you start with
and money. We know that's part of it.
I mean, can you afford them? That's the first thing. Who can you afford? And you know, smart, tough, skilled. You got to kind of embody those core values. Serious, tough-minded player. You know, and then the talent, obviously, you got to be good enough.
Yeah, of course.
And you got to be able to shoot. And I don't think there's anybody down there that can't make a shot. So that's been good. You know, it's a lot that goes into it, but I think, you know, not bending on some of those character things for sure. You can't be you can't be a bad student because that's just a reflection of you can't handle your business.
That's right.
Like, this is going to be hard. And we tell them how difficult this is going to be in the demands. And so you got to have some level of professionalism. But, for BJ Ward, it was the passing that really jumped out. And for Trevor Hennig, I turned him on. I saw Cameron Hildreth, who I recruited and coached at Wake Forest. I saw the violence at which he played with. And I was like, I can coach him.
Okay.
Marcus, I knew came from Wake Forest. I knew what we were getting. Richie Riley's a close friend, and he had great things to say about Cooper. So you put it all together, and then you trust your intuition. Do I feel good about this? All right, yeah, let's get him.
That's right.
And does he? We needed completeness at the guard spot. I think Cooper and Ward give us that. Even Trevor gives us that. And so, it's just like putting a puzzle together and figuring it out. And Chris Arkenberg there's nobody better at navigating this portal. So I just really follow his lead.
Yeah. Now, a lot of times we talk about obviously recruiting from the player standpoint, but what about recruiting for coaching staff?
Yeah.
How important is that? Now you also had the addition of Dwight Perry.
Yeah, we've had some turnover, and I think when you have success, Marcus Belcher was terrific. He was calling a lot of the plays much of the year, especially down the stretch. He was really good, and he had an opportunity to go to Belmont. Yeah. His wife has family there, and it's Missouri Valley. He's a Valley guy, and so it made sense for him. And we were fortunate to hire Dwight, and we brought him in, and just started talking ball, and it became really evident really quickly that we had the same shared philosophy. And I'm not trying to convince anybody that our way is the best way, players or coaches. We think it is, but there's a million ways to do it. But we had a shared philosophy and a shared about how to win, and he's done it. And I've always admired him and respected him as a coach and his teams, and it just made sense. And luckily, this is something he wanted to do. Again, it was like recruiting a player. Like it wasn't a lot of selling. Like, you gotta want to do this. Yeah. You gotta be in it for the right reasons. But man, are we fortunate? Yeah. And so you want to try to surround yourself with the best. And in my eyes, he was the best for that. And we're fortunate to have him.
Yeah, of course. All right. So when you took over as head coach, and then even now in 2026, do you have thoughts of, hey, this is the overall plan. This is the master plan of, how I want to coach this team, build this program, be part of the community? Because obviously that's a big part of ETSU as well.
Yeah, I think everybody has a plan going in that they think is a good plan. I certainly did. And then you get in there and you figure out that, maybe I don't quite have the right staff to be able to execute this, or I couldn't get the right kind of players. And so you have to pivot. And I think it's just a big part of it is being able to adjust on the fly and figure it out as you go and problem solve. And that's always, I think, been a strength of mine. I have a lot of flaws, but one of the strengths is I think I problem solving. Yeah. And I think that's such a huge part of it. Yeah, came in, we're going to play like we did at Wake Forest, and I don't have Alondas Williams and Ty Appleby and Jake Laravia.
Exactly. That changes things.
And so you got to kind of work with what you have. We got better as the season went along and got hot down the stretch and played for a championship. And then, I think we were a little small up front, and so you get these big guys in year two, and then it didn't quite work. And then, we had some other issues that were like, okay, I touched the stove on talent, just being totally transparent. I gambled on the talent, no more. And I knew that stove was hot, but I had to find out the hard way. Yep. And, but I still think that group was good enough. Jayden Seymour gets hurt. John Buggs gets
That's right.
If we stay healthy.
Yeah, it's a different
maybe
story,
I'm not saying that, but, and so we kind of changed our philosophy on how to build the roster, and it worked.
Isn't that part of life, though? You have to be able to evolve and pivot. I think that's the key word, pivot.
Yeah, and you got to be able to admit your failures.
But how hard is that, though?
In this day and age, when you're so worried about your image and how you're going to look to a bunch of people you don't know, big.
Very hard. And especially from the player side, because they're living in that world. I know you're not on X or Twitter, but it's a different aspect for those guys.
And coaches have short leashes now, and so, but I think you got to be honest with yourself. And I think that, maybe sometimes to a fault. I'm an honest person, but you got to be able to take that. I mean, it's part of it. If you really want to get better, you don't have a choice.
Yeah, that's right. All right, what do you do in terms of decompressing off the court, just having a little fun?
Got 3 little kids.
Okay, well,
so
that's all you need to say. That's right.
My son has been like the ultimate good luck charm. He was born. We win the league. The Knicks win. So hopefully we can keep it going. I try to help out at home.
Yeah.
And stay on the right side of things. But no, spend time with them because they sacrifice a lot.
Yeah.
And play golf. Broke 40 last year.
Oh, let's go.
I think that those guys that knock the coaches that play golf in this day and age of raising money, you better be better have a good stick.
That's right. Yes.
And and I think if that's what you do, I think cold plunge is dumb. But if that's what you do to get right, then get right. I like to play golf. This is a golf playing community.
Yeah.
So it works out. Made some friends out there and raised some money out there. All right. So I stay up too late and watch shows and eat junk food.
Binge watch shows. Yeah. What's the best one you've seen lately?
Oh, I don't know. There's not a lot of new ones. I rewatch Entourage and Suits and comfort shows. But we watched that Friends and Neighbors recently.
Oh, yes.
Me and the wife.
Yeah, I watched it as well.
I like John Hamm.
Yeah,
I like Olivia Munn.
Yeah.
So
that's a good series.
Good cast, good series,
yes, definitely. All right, you ever had a hole in one?
No. I don't even think I've come close.
No.
I haven't
either.
I've landed it on like where another hole placement would be, but never the actual hole.
Yes, exactly. Why can't it be right there?
I'm a reckless golfer, though.
Okay,
I'm not laying up.
Oh yeah, go for it, right?
But last year when I was trying to score, I reeled it in a little bit, and it was better for your scorecard. But I'm going for it. I'm going at every flag. I'm not laying up. It's probably not the best way to do it, but I don't know.
Hey, you got to go for it.
I guess.
That's right.
Roll the dice.
Yes. All right, and go for it here in 2026.
Yep.
Coach Savage,
Appreciate
thank you, sir.
Great to see
Greatly
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.